What is going on, everyone? Today we are talking about how much a real estate agent actually makes. We're going to talk about brokerage fees, transaction fees, franchise fees. We're going to talk about cap rates, and we're going to talk about referrals as well, because referrals are a big one. Also, if you're on a team, that's a big chunk out of your paycheck as well. So we're going to talk about all that stuff in this video. What we are not going to talk about is expenses for a real estate agent. That will be in a future video. If I've already made the video, it'll be up here in the cards. We'll also put it on the end screen as well. I am going to show you a breakdown using actual examples, actual numbers. So stick around and we will get right to it. So let's actually talk about all the different fees you will see as a real estate agent. I'm not going to go too deep into numbers right now. We'll do that in just a second after we get through all these definitions. So the very first one is a split, and that is a split between you and your brokerage. Now, if you're not familiar, real estate agents do have to hang their license under a broker. So when a customer or client hires you, they're actually hiring the brokerage and you work on behalf of the brokerage. The brokerage has more liability. They have higher standards they have to stick to. So due to that, they take a cut of your GCI, your gross commission. And that can range. It'll range depending on brokerages. I've seen 50-50 all the way up to 90-10, 95-5. Depending on the brokerage you're at, will change. It could be negotiable with brokerages as well, but for some it is not. So that's the split. The next important factor is the cap. The cap is a cap on the amount of money you will actually pay to the brokerage for the year. So I don't know if it's calendar year or year when your start date to your start date. I think that will depend on brokerage, but a cap is very important because if you're planning on making a good amount of money in real estate, which most people are, the split is not going to matter as much because you're going to cap, and after you cap, you keep 100% of your commissions. So let's say the cap is at $20,000. After you've paid that $20,000 to the brokerage, after that you keep 100% of your commissions for the rest of the year, whether that's calendar year or like start year. The next one to be aware of is a franchise fee. I know that some of the bigger brokerages charge a franchise fee, which I've heard ranges from 8 to 10%. Again, I'm with a smaller kind of boutique brokerage, so they don't charge this fee, but that is a big amount of money to come out of your check right from the start of the franchise fee. The next thing to be aware of is a team split. So many new agents will start on a team. They'll start off as a buyer's agent to get experience, and you have to make that decision yourself if you think that is something that is worth it to you to gain that experience, to give up that commission. A lot of people will say it is worth it because you're gaining experience, you're gaining clientele, you're gaining knowledge in the field, and it's kind of like a tuition cost for getting knowledge in the field. So that could be up to 50% of your split. Now, that team fee will typically come after the brokerage split. So let's say you're at a broker, it's $10,000 is your gross commission. Broker takes $2,500, and then you have a 50% team split. You're going to now get cut down to $3,750 from a $10,000 check originally. So it is, again, a big chunk of money, but it's part of the price you pay for learning the game if that's the direction you want to go. The next one to be familiar with is a transaction fee or a desk fee. Again, my brokerage that I'm at does not charge this, but I have seen some brokerages charge $300, $400, $500 as a desk fee to add on to your overall set of never-ending fees. The next one is a very important one, and this is a good one. This is a transaction coordination fee. Now, a transaction coordinator does exactly what they sound like they're going to do. They coordinate all of the paperwork for your transaction. So this is very important because as a newer agent, you might not know what disclosures need to be made. Houses before a certain year need a lead paint disclosure. So a transaction coordinator makes sure all your ducks are in a line, make sure that you have all your paperwork in order, and those will range anywhere from $200 up to $500 depending on how much work they do. At the brokerage I'm at, Hubbell Real Estate, they require a transaction coordinator for the first 5 transactions, and that is to make sure, again, that their agents have all their ducks in a row. That leads us right into the next fee, which is the errors and omissions insurance. Let's say you do screw up on the paperwork, you get sued. Errors and omissions will help cover that liability, if not completely cover it. So at our brokerage, it's $125. I'm not sure if that ranges per brokerage, but it's $125 per transaction for errors and omissions insurance. The next one can also be a very big one. That is a referral fee. So if you have a referral fee from either a company that sells you referrals like OpCity, where they charge 35%, or another agent, say, someone calls you from out of the area, they say, hey, I have a client that's just sold their house here, they're moving to your area, will you pay a 25% referral fee? If you agree to that, it's going to take a pretty big chunk out of your overall commission check. Again, we'll go into exact numbers in just a second here. The last one to be aware of is office expenses. Now, at my brokerage, at my company, we have printers, we have stuff in-house that we can take advantage as kind of like office use equipment, and we have to pay for that. Paper, ink, that all costs money. So, we have a set amount for black and white, set amount for color, and when we close the transaction, all those prints that we did get taken out of that office expense kind of category. Now, before we move on, if you're finding this helpful so far, do me a favor, hit that subscribe and the bell notification so you'll be updated on new videos, more videos coming out, more videos related to agents, related to the real estate business. I'm just going to continue to put these out pretty regularly. So hit that subscribe, hit the notification bell so we can see you again. So let's actually talk about the numbers. What does all this actually look like with a transaction? For this example, I'm just going to use a sales price, which is pretty standard for this area, $500,000. Your area, it might be less, it might be more, but it's a nice, easy round number to work with. Again, we're not going to talk about listing expenses like photography and advertising, but just the office fees, the transaction fees that come along with being a real estate agent. So $500,000 sale price. That would be a $15,000 GCI, gross commission income. Now, let's say your split for the brokerage was 75-25, 75% to you, 25 to the brokerage. That's going to leave you with $11,250 and the brokerage with $37.50, $3,750, be a little more clear. Now, again, I'm not going to talk about transaction fees because I don't pay those at the brokerage. We're not going to talk about franchise fees. I will mention briefly team splits because I know that is very common. I'm personally not on a team, but this is where you would take that team split. So if you're on a 50-50 and your check was $11,250, you would split that in half. So that would be what? $5,675, I believe, if my math is right. So that's where your team split would be. You could see that really takes a big chunk out of your overall payment. Remember, your original check would have been $15,000 down to less than $6,000 with that team split. Now, I do have errors and omissions insurance, which is $125, and then also the transaction coordinator, which is $300. Let's assume just I have about $100 in office expenses. That's like printing at the office. So with the errors and omissions, the split, the transaction coordinator, that would leave me with a gross check, again, starting at $15,000 down to $10,675. Now, remember guys, that is before other expenses. So you still have to pay for taxes, which is crazy. You still have to pay for your health insurance, your phone bills, all your other bills still need to come out of that check. So we'll do a whole nother video on budgeting as well, but that's where we're sitting right now, $10,675. We are going to talk about referral fees right now. So referrals. It's important to understand how this works because my first transaction was a referral and I had been calculating how much money I was going to get, and I got that check and it was lower than I expected. And the reason is I didn't understand how referrals are calculated. Once I looked at it, it made sense, but at first it kind of hurt my heart a little bit, but it made sense once I looked at it, and I'll break it down for you real quick. So using those same numbers as before, let's say your gross commission is $15,000 and your referral fee is 25%. Now what happens is they calculate that referral fee based on your gross commission, but then they deduct it after your brokerage split, right? So your brokerage is not going to split the cost of that referral with you. So again, $15,000, 25%, your referral fee is going to be $37.50. Now after your normal split, you're going to be at $11,250 for your gross take home. Now we're going to subtract that additional $37.50. So that brings us down to $7,500 from where we were before. Factor in the Arizona mission and the transaction coordinator just to be consistent with the last little section, and we're down to $7,075. Now, that is a big chunk. That's almost $4,000 for a referral fee, but you have to ask yourself, is it worth it? Because that's dollars that you would not have in your pocket if you didn't get that referral fee. On the flip side, kind of goes to show you how good it is to build up a network outside of your area so that you can refer things out to where you can start getting checks for $3,700, $4,000 for referrals, for sending people to other areas, and just hooking them up with an agent. Calling that agent, building a relationship, getting that referral fee signed, that broker-to-broker commission signed, and then send that client over and collect your paychecks. It's kind of nice. It's something I'm working on building up, something that you should really consider trying to build up as well over time. All right, so now we're going to talk about cap math and why choosing a company that has the right cap is going to be so important. Some companies don't even offer cap. You pay your split all the way up. You can make $1 million, and if you're at 70-30, you're paying $300,000 in commissions. A lot of companies do cap though, anywhere from $15,000 to $25,000, $30,000. That's going to be the max payout you have to the broker. So let's just use again examples just to put some concrete numbers to it. So let's say, for instance, your gross commission is $70,000. You're on a 75-25 split with a $24,000 cap. Your actual take home at the end of that year would be $52,500, whereas the brokerage is going to keep $17,500. So because you didn't hit a certain threshold, you're not actually going to cap. You haven't got to a point where you are taking home 100% of your commissions. Going a little bit further, let's say you're at same GCI, but now you're at a 60-40 split. In this example, you actually will cap. $24,000 cap, your take home is going to be $46,000. And your cap, the amount you paid out to the brokerage, is going to be $24,000. Now that leaves a $4,000 difference that is going back into your pocket because you hit that $24,000 and you don't pay out any more after that. So, it would have normally been like, if there was no cap, it would have been a $42,000 to $28,000 on a 60-40 split. Now let's talk about if you are like most people that are getting into real estate, you're not getting into it for part-time. You're looking to actually be successful to make a good amount of money on it. Let's talk about making a little bit more money where you actually are going to cap. So let's say, for instance, your GCI is $100,000 and you're at that 75-25 split with a $24,000 split, or excuse me, $24,000 cap. Your take home at that point is going to be $76,000 with your cap at 24. Now, 75-25, we're pretty close to the cap, so we just barely capped, and the difference between the cap and our 100% take home pay is going to be just $1,000, right? So $76,000 take home, $24,000 cap. If we made more, if we're up at 120,000 GCI, same split, same cap, 75-25, $24,000 cap, we'll see our take home pay will be $96,000, and we're going to hit that cap at $24,000 for the brokerage fees. Now, that'll be a difference of $21,000 that is 100% your take home after you've hit that cap. So that is it. We're not going to talk about expenses in this video, but that will be in the next video that I put out. If it has come out already, you will have seen an information card up here, and it will come up on the end screen right here. Again, my name is Christian Tiessen with Hubbell Real Estate. I'm on the central coast of California, about halfway in between LA and the Bay. So if you know anyone looking to move here, send me your referrals. I'll gladly pay you a 25% referral fee for that. And I'm looking forward to talking to you guys. Hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell, and we'll see you soon.